Sometimes people ask me why I rarely cover affordable watch brands. And it's not because I dislike affordable watches. It's because most affordable brands suffer from three structural problems. As businesses, they're too easy to start. They are forced to compete on price. And eventually they become creatively complacent. Baltic is one of the few exceptions. And today, with the World Timer and the Space One collaboration watch that I've had hands-on with, I'll explain why. Let's dive in. Like most successful microbrands, Baltic sources components from specialist suppliers and sells directly to consumers. That keeps prices down, but it also means that they operate within the same ecosystem as hundreds of other brands. The difference is what they've chosen to build with that ecosystem. Baltic was founded in 2016 by Etienne Malek. They follow what is by now an established model for small independent microbrands. Their chronograph and their scale graph has vintage Universal Genève and vintage Tag Heuer leanings. The skin divers belong in the realm of Blancpain bathyscaphs and some Seiko models and the hundreds of other skin diver brands that were around in the 60s. The dressier watches that they have a touch of JLC and Vacheron Constantin to them. What this makes for is a brand lineup that leans vintage and retro with old school charm. They lean dressier and more old school than big name brands like Rolex, Omega, and Tudor. That also means that they're not for everybody. The designs are more niche for a smaller target audience. I would guess it's for younger people with an old school mindset and older people who already in their late 20s felt that music was better in the old days. Prices range from around $600 for their most basic models, and it tops out at around $2,500 for their most high-end models, where the movements are significantly better, there are more complications, and more premium features. The starting point sets the limitations. It used to be hard to start a watch brand. There wasn't a global infrastructure that you could leverage to start building a watch. You needed technical know-how, strong connections, and a decent amount of cash to get off the ground. But today, you go to a Chinese manufacturer and you Google OEM or ODM and you will find a company that will facilitate the making of your watch from scratch. They will do as little or as much as you need them to do to get you off the ground. You can provide them with a design or you can mix and match based on what they have on the shelf. It's literally that easy. You don't even have to go to China. In Switzerland, France, Germany too, there are groups that will be happy to assist you in getting your watch brand off the ground. It's so freaking easy. And that ease is the problem. It's like food trucks. Food trucks used to be this real thing where each vendor had their particular thing that they were good at. Some sucked and you had a trip to the toilet, but others made phenomenal street food. Now, at any company event, at any company, I guarantee you when there's a summer party, there are going to be 3 food trucks and you know what they're going to be offering. Truck number 1 has smash burgers, truck number 2 has tacos, and truck number 3 has bao buns or ramen if the company is full of hippies. The problem isn't OEM manufacturing. The problem is that OEM manufacturing makes it incredibly easy to produce something completely unoriginal. The ease of entry floods the market with lazy products. The number of brands that sell their variant of a simple sports watch with a premium dial and a 3-link oyster-style bracelet with solid micro-adjust is just staggering. That sports watch is accompanied by a premium dive watch with a ceramic bezel, a premium dial, a 3-link oyster-style bracelet, and an NH35 or a Miyota 9015 movement inside. And when you really want to spice it up, your manufacturer just happens to have a warehouse packed to the ceiling with Vanta Black, Tiger's Eye, and malachite stone dials. No, wait. Ooh, you want to go premium? Let me guess. There's a skeleton dial on the way. And it's because you just have this super surplus of smash burger food trucks that is so monumentally unexciting to talk about. There's nothing wrong with those watches, mind you. They are solidly built. They've got reliable movements. They are highly comparable, but they're just samey and not interesting to talk about. If my YouTube channel was a food truck, hopefully it would be one of the good ones. There is at least a queue of 200,000 people that have signed up to get my products. So if you are new here and you have not tried out my delicious video delicacies, or you have not just subscribed yet, please do so. It makes it easier for you to catch up on my content, and it tells me that I'm making good content. Thanks a ton. And the sheer fact that Baltic from the start didn't go, hey, let's make another Rolex adjacent product lineup, immediately makes them more interesting. Now, I've acknowledged that I can see where some of their design inspirations come from, but they deliberately aimed for a niche, a segment, and a smaller market. They wanted something that stood out and wasn't like the rest. That's exceedingly rare simply because the mechanisms and incentives push for the opposite approach. The second problem is also related to the low price point. You have, for all sorts of reasons, chosen to offer something affordable as a company, but it also means you are selling on the basis of price. Now, we complain that high-end brands focus too much on raising the price. The low end, I would argue, is too constrained when it comes to keeping the prices low. Now, you're going to go, what? Wait, Mike. Are you saying that you want them to raise prices? No. What I'm saying is, when part of your selling proposition is a low price, you're limited to how much you can improve your product. A Sellita SW200 movement is better technically than an NH34 or an NH35 movement that you often see in those watches below $1,000. But no brand below $1,000 can put a Sellita into their watch because they would have to raise the price too much. When Tudor went from first a sourced ETA movement and then to in-house COSC and finally to Meta certification, they raised their price because the product got better, and the customers have largely been okay with that. The tolerance for price increases at this lower price point, regardless of reason, is just lower. You see this with other brands as well. One of the criticisms of the Formex Aria that I did a review of, which was $8,000, was that it felt too expensive for Formex. Now consider some Chinese brands raising their prices 30% because they started using a Sellita SW200-2. It wouldn't fly commercially with those incredibly price-conscious buyers. And this just constrains how much innovation you can throw into your watch. The Baltic Heure du Monde costs $1,650, and I've got no doubt that the cost-conscious Baltic buyer reacted by thinking, that's too much for a Baltic. But if you want a GMT movement that has the torque to turn the GMT hour ring, you need to go to Soprod or Sellita or higher-end Seiko and Miyota movements. So, first, the ease of entry makes for a high risk of lazy designs. Second, the price point constrains what you can offer. And third, it fosters lack of ambition. You are not going to be driving a Rolls-Royce off of your earnings of your sub $1,000 Rolex adjacent watch. But if you have a loyal enough following, you can make a living. But what I want from a brand is not one that makes good enough watches to make money. I want a brand and an owner that wants to deliver something special to the world. I don't believe we should be in a world where all creativity and all innovation is limited to the high end and exclusive for high-end buyers, while us regular Joes just get homages, replicas, and low-cost knockoffs. I want the brand to do something interesting. I want them also to push to the edge. And the Space One collab is just that. Space One is this relatively small French watchmaker that primarily make debutune Uhrwerk kind of watches. They are not for the mainstream at all. Baltic got together with Space One and a guy called Théo Offray, a French watchmaker, who is fast gaining high praise. And, they said, can we make a watch together? And they made the Seconde Majeure. It's a jump hour watch with a custom module designed by Théo Offray, built on the top of a base Soprod movement to power the jump hour dial. It's not as intricate as a Grüppel-Forsey balancier. It's not as well put together. But this is a truly original artistic expression coupled with movement innovation and customization priced for regular people. It's ambition. Looks-wise, it's not to my taste at all. It's got a jump hour, it's got a top center crown, and the only real functional negative of that is it's impossible to use when the strap is attached. But that's not the point. They made it. And as far as I know, it's sold out. I'm perfectly happy with brands existing that are cheap, decent quality, and have a derivative design. Your generic 3-link sports watch. There's nothing wrong with those kind of watches. I buy them myself, and if you find one you like, go ahead and buy one. But to talk about them just isn't that exciting. I'm not going to time graph an NH35 movement in one brand and compare it to the NH35 in some other brand. They're going to be fine. Their bracelets are going to be about the same. Their dials are going to be about the same. The differences are not big enough to care about. So instead, I wait for the brands that do something left of center, that try to do something different, that aren't just sourcing a watch, but are trying to make something new and exciting. I don't have to like it, but it has to capture my attention, and I want to talk about the brands that want to really move the needle and not just sell me the same watch with a different stone dial. As for the two watches, the World Timer is super cool. I dig it. Baltic straps are really good for their price. The Second Majeur is a brilliant piece of design, albeit not something I would ever buy myself. Ultimately, I'm not really interested in reviewing products. I'm interested in rewarding ambition. If you're a small brand trying to do something genuinely different, even if I don't personally love the result, that deserves attention. Because those are the companies that actually move watchmaking forward for everybody, not just the richest of those among us. Those were my thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe. Cheers.